Morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hmm. Lord have mercy. Good morning to each and every one of you. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Mova, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning to each and every one of you. Good morning. Good morning. It is Friday, July 11th. I made it past July 10th. Hey, my God. Good morning, Fee. I made it past July 10th, which was the longest day I knew I was going to have in July thus far. And so, grateful to be here for another day with each and every one of you. Today, we're going to, good morning, Beatrice. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, my darlings. If I look like I have raccoon eyes, it's because it took me forever and a day to get the makeup off that I had on last night. So the eyeliner is still running underneath my eyes. Good morning, Bobby Carr. So I'm trying to get it together because I have to put a whole face back on today to go do something else. Amazing. Good morning, Brown Fisher C. I see you all there. Normally on this Friday we would have Kelvin Jeremiah on, the CEO of and president of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. But last night I was with Kelvin Jeremiah and 450 of his closest friends as they were raising monies for the Philly Seeds program that helped to give out $5,000 scholarships to a slew of students. And it also helps first-time PHA residents to be first-time home buyers. And I was the mistress of ceremonies, and I got to tell you, it was so wonderful talking to the residents in the room. They were so happy to be there. They were excited. The food was flowing, just folks all around them from all walks of life, and they had themselves an amazing time. So instead of walking around the room and introducing myself to what I call the muckety mucks, I spent the first hour, the cocktail hour, talking to the residents. Some of them recognized me. One lady said, "Come in." 80-some years old. She goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Marvel." She said, "Oh my God, we've been trying to find you." Ah! So we had a good old time laughing and talking. And so and I meant to give them my information, but baby, 450 something people strong was in that room, and I had to corral and make sure everybody was, doing what they needed to do. It was so successful. As I was leaving last night, the amount of white people that came over and said, "Man, how were you able to do that? How were you able to just stand there at the podium and ask for silence?" And everybody just got really quiet. I said, "It's a skill, it's a skill, it's a skill." Anyway, they raised the Middletons, who were part owner of the Phillies. Again, I don't know. I didn't know. Man walked over and just started talking to me and said he was just so impressed and blah, 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 blah. They gave $500,000 last night on top of the amount of money that they raised yesterday. And he said anybody that gives matching dollars, he will match them too. So it was a really successful event. Kelvin Jeremiah spoke about the $2.1 million, no, not two, $4.3 million that they gave out in scholarships to deserving PHA residents. And then they had the Estelle Richmond Scholarship, which was for students in college, excuse me, with a 2.5 GPA, because they didn't just want to acknowledge the students who had 4.0 and 3.8, et cetera, et cetera. I thought it was a great event. We had a wonderful time. And then for those of you who follow me, you know that season 2 and the season ender was recording artist Freeway. And he was there last night, and I got to talk to him, and he said, "Oh my God, you look amazing." It was so funny. He said, "I had to touch Kevin Jeremiah." I was like, that can't. Yep. So I keep telling you all, show up in your most authentic space. The things that I wore last night The top was 6, 7 years old. The bottom was 2 years old, maybe almost 3 years old. And I put them together. I mix and match, right? And as I was putting it together, I kept saying to myself, this might be too much for this event. It was not too much. Not only was it not too much, it matched the decor. The flowers of the night were yellow and purple, and I didn't know. People thought I put it together, right? So I'm grateful to PHA. They are a media sponsor for the A.Lawful Truth podcast. And so when along with being the mistress of ceremonies last night, we bought a sponsorship for the residents and bought 2 tickets for residents to attend, because I didn't just want to show up there. I wanted to be a part of the solution for the folks that were, in the room. And they were so, listen, I've always said, and you always hear me say this, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Those people were just so wonderfully happy. Like someone acknowledged them, that we see them. There was an award given to Congressman Dwight Evans last night. He was with a walker, so they brought the award down to him. The Middletons, gave an award. Then another construction owner gave out $5,000 awards to people who didn't know they were going to get $5,000 awards, and it was just a phenomenal event. When I spoke to Kelvin last night, first of all, he probably didn't recognize me because my hair was in this whole, yes. Shout out to the Wafe Hair Salon and Sarita Scott. I sat in her chair yesterday and I said, do something different or I'm cutting this thing off. And she did. She grabbed me. She said, all right, Andre, I'm just going to pray. And this is called threading, right? And so she braided my hair. And then this is all thread. This is not hair. This is thread, African threading that she did in my hair yesterday. And it is so beautiful. For those of you who are invited to the Black Met Gala event on August 9th, you are in for a whole treat. I turned to Kelvin and I said, this is amazing. He said, Andrea, it's almost double the amount of people that were there last year. And it's the largest event that they've had to date in their 12 years. So I was really proud to be a part of that. And I can only see it growing, because when people donate their monies and they give sponsorships, they see where the money is going. The last thing I want to say about this event was Prince from Schuylkill. Those of you who don't know who Prince from Schuylkill is, he was in the room last night. He ran over, and guess what, y'all? He got a girlfriend. A softer, gentler kind. I didn't even recognize him. I grabbed the sister and hugged and kissed her. I was like, thank you for taking him off our hands, and thank you for making him kinder and gentler. It's amazing. We all need love and support in our lives. And Prince, who you all know is a Republican, would come on the air and talk about Black women and blah, 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 blah. He got a woman, and she's not white. So it was really good. We had a great time. I'm exhausted. I barely got any sleep last night, and I'm running a full day today. But I just really did not want to come on the air and talk to all of you, because you all make this, what I am doing, possible. I saw another gentleman who was a part of building. He owns a bunch of property, and is great friends with the Lomaxes. And he said, are you guys okay? I said, look, I left in a great way. I didn't, cause issues for them. In fact, I made sure that, when I walked away, I said to people, do not denigrate them in any way. And he was so pleased to hear that. He said, because guess what? There's some stuff I want to do with you. And we just talked and walked the way through. Freeway put on a concert last night. Okay, I'm going to put up all the videos and stuff a little bit later, but I really have to get running this morning, so I couldn't get it together. Put all the stuff up last night. Last night was just to thank Ira Anthony, who did my makeup, Bossy Brows, Anisha Claire, who did my brows, and Duafe, Sarita Scott, who pulled all of this together so that my whole outfit could look like one big thing. People kept asking me if I had a designer label, and I said the only designer collection I have is mine, that I designed the things that I wear. And at some point in my little life, I'm going to put a designer collection together for the general public. And I believe it's going to be a bunch of skirts, because my skirts, the ideas that I come up with for the skirts are just wonderful. Anyway, moving right along. There is something that I wanted to play for all of you and then give you an idea of why this is happening. There's so much chaos going on in the country right now that it's hard to even keep up with what's going on. Let me see. They're telling us to keep our eyes on Birmingham, Alabama. Let me pull this up so that I can. Let me read this to you first, though, because I want you to know who this person is before I tell you exactly what's going on. Randall Woodfin, born May 29, 1981, is an American lawyer and politician who is the 34th and current mayor of Birmingham, Alabama, after winning the October 2017 runoff against incumbent William Bell. He previously served as president of the Birmingham City School Board 2013 to 2015 and as a city attorney of Birmingham from 2009 to 2017. He was born and raised in North Birmingham and Crestwood neighborhoods of Birmingham, Alabama. He graduated from Morehouse College, where he majored in political science and was a Student Government Association president. He also earned a Juris Doctor, which is a law degree, from the Cumberland School of Law at Stanford University. So this is what's going on now with Randall Woodfin, the 44-year-old, who is the current mayor of Birmingham, Alabama. And they want us to be aware so that we can do something, so we can pay attention to what's going on out here. Let me tell you, I can barely see. So there's a thing that says, the gentleman came on, he says, eyes on Birmingham. Take a listen.
There's a problem in Birmingham, and the media is not talking about it. If we don't re-elect Mayor Randall Woodfin, the soul of this city is up for grabs. This is Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy ground. And right now, extremists in the Alabama state legislature are trying to erase that. They want to take over Birmingham's billion-dollar water system. They're gutting jobs, stripping local power, and silencing black leadership. But we've got a fighter. Under Randall Woodfin, Birmingham has become a national model. Free college for city students, raised wages for workers, 15 million affordable housing fund, mental health investments, hundreds of millions of federal dollars delivered. This race is bigger than one city. It's who gets to shape the future of the Deep South. Please follow Randall to learn more about this election. And if you believe in the fight for progress, justice, and power that stays with the people, hit the link in my bio and please chip in if you can.
Wow. So that's what's going on in Birmingham, Alabama right now. And so I want you to kind of put your eyes and ears there. The other thing that that's happening is in the Caribbean diaspora, the head of the Caribbean Union, the head of the Caribbean leaders is the president of Barbados, and she has been telling everybody to pull themselves together to get our own satellites, so we're not shut down, so that we can have the conversations that we need to have. Because she sees that all of what is impacting America and around the world is impacting the Caribbean in a harsh way too. On Monday, I will play that video for you, but there's so much going on that I need you all to pay attention to as we move forward. The phone lines are open, 215-400-0146, if you would like to have a conversation with me. And when I first started this show, we would open up the airs for the phone lines for people to talk to me, and I am doing that again. So if you want to have a conversation, just let me know. All right, so let me go on over here and get some news that we can use. Oh my gosh, my poor body. Too much going on out here. Also, I got something last night. Tell you, thank you to the people who are always sending me stuff. Let me see if I can find it for you. So remember when everybody was saying that the president of District Council 33, everybody was going to vote him out, blah, 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 blah. This was what someone posted, and it was sent to me by a union member. The person's name is Carrie Miles. Understand this. The president of District Council 33 only votes in the event there is a tie. The officers who stood tall were Vice President Antoine Little, Secretary Jay Gallagher, Water Department President and Business Agent and Airport President. The remainder of the DC 33 executive board folded point blank, they said. Um, the good news is that the members still have the power by not ratifying this contract, but those board members who voted yes, if you didn't or didn't want this contract, need to be held accountable. And then they wrote, I feel the worst for sanitation workers. All I can see is milk the hell out of overtime. It's a lot going on out here. So this person, Karen Miles, said the president of this District Council 33 only gets a vote in negotiations in the event of a tie, and that it was these people that voted to accept the contract as is and not him. It continues, and there's a lot of conversation happening behind the scenes and in front of in front of everybody about what exactly is going on. But if you didn't learn anything else from this, I would say, please make sure that you pay attention to what's going on out here, please, because there's way more than meets the eye, and I try to give it to you as much as I can. Thank you, Viola. She says your hair is amazing and beautiful. I have a ton of hair on my head. Ira laughed last night and said the shrinkage is real, but when I pull my hair, you can see my hair comes out to about here. You just wouldn't be able to tell it because my hair is always like shrunk to my head. So we were able to do this. Beatrice says, I miss hearing from Prince on your show. Do not encourage him. He is just so wonderful. Monica said, wow, Prince, softer. He surely needed a black woman to love on him. Child. Go look on my Facebook page, Viola. You'll see my hair from the front to the back to the side. I put up a reel this morning thanking Duwafe, Bossy Brows, and Ira. Good morning, Dennis. Good morning. Good morning. And, the message here is just, please, if you be yourself. You don't have to fit in with everybody else. Just be who you are. All right, let's see what else is in the news. Maurice Hill, a man convicted of shooting 6 Philadelphia police officers during the 2019 standoff in Philadelphia's Nicetown, Tioga neighborhood, was sentenced on Thursday to 120 to 240 years in state prison, District Attorney Larry Krasner's office confirmed. While officers were serving a narcotics warrant on August 14, 2019, at a home on 15th Street near Erie Avenue, Hill fired a gun through a wall and struck the officers. He then barricaded himself inside the home with a handgun and an AR-15 rifle, leading to a standoff during which he fired dozens of rounds at officers before ultimately surrendering after about 7 hours. Former police commissioner Richard Ross said at the time it was nothing short of a miracle that no officers were killed. The officers struck by Hill's gunfire had non-life-threatening injuries. 120 to 240 years. We're talking 5 lifetimes. He will never, ever, ever see outside of prison. When he leaves prison, it will be in a body bag. Amazing. Just a lot going on out here. So that happened, and that was written by CBSNews.com. The community of Kerrville, Texas, ravaged by the catastrophic flooding of the Guadalupe River 1 week ago, was mourning its losses Thursday as rescue teams continued the grueling task of recovering the remains of missing victims. At least 120 people have been found dead since heavy rainfall overwhelmed the river and flowed through homes and youth camps in the early morning hours of July 4th. 96 of those killed were in the hardest hit county in central Texas, Kerr County, where the toll includes at least 36 children. More than 160 people are still missing in the county, officials said in a Thursday night update, and hopes that finding any survivors have diminished with each passing day. County authorities say they haven't made a live rescue since the day of the flood. This was written by usatoday.com. President Donald Trump applauded Liberian President Joseph Boakai for speaking English, the official language of his country, prompting sharp criticism. On Wednesday, July 9th, Trump was hosting leaders of Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal at the White House when he praised Bokai's good English. Such good English is beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Trump asked the Liberian president. Boakai told Trump that he was educated in Liberia, where English is the official language. That's very interesting, Trump says. I have people at this table who can't speak nearly as well. Jesus. Liberia was founded in 1822 by the American Colonization Society, which aimed to resettle freed slaves in Africa. Liberia gained its independence from the American Colonization Society in 1847. Multiple languages are spoken in the African country today, but English is the official one. This was written by Black Bin News, BINN News. Whew, Lord, there's so much going on in this country, so much. Let me read some of these messages because, Lord, good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Laverne. Good morning. I see you all here. How are you following the news? Have you shut down? Good morning, Winetta. I see you, darling. Are you all watching the news, reading the news, following the news, or have you shut down and decided that it's too much? Let me know how you're navigating through all of this because it matters. It really does. If we're not following it, and I know we can't follow it 24/7, and even I, a news person, has shut down from so much of it. But there's so many things happening at once, all at once, and so we have to kind of still pay attention. uh, federal judge, a federal judge in New Hampshire on Thursday certified a class action lawsuit including all children who will be affected by President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship and issued a preliminary injunction blocking it. Judge Joseph LaPlante announced his decision after an hour-long hearing and issued a written order soon after. The order includes a 7-day stay to allow for appeal. The class is slightly narrower than sought by most plaintiffs, who originally included parents as such. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of a pregnant woman, two parents, and their infants. It's among numerous cases challenging Mr. Trump's January order denying citizenship to those born to parents living in the U.S. illegally or temporarily. The plaintiffs are represented by the American Civil Liberties Union and others. This was written by CBSNews.com. Oh boy. The deal with DC 33 asks that they fall short of what they were asking during the negotiations in the city. And when they get to elections again in that council, it'll be interesting to see if the current president remains the president. At least 31 workers were safely rescued after a tunnel collapsed in a large industrial complex in Los Angeles on Wednesday evening. According to the Los Angeles Fire Department, the collapse took place at the 18-foot diameter tunnel being constructed for municipal wastewater management, occurred at an underground, undetermined depth horizontal evacuation site about 5 to 6 miles south of the sole entry rescue access portal. The Los Angeles Fire Department said the trapped workers were able to scramble with some effort over a 12 to 15-foot pile of loose soil to meet several co-workers on the other side of the collapse and be shuttled several at a time by tunnel vehicle to the entry access point more than 5 miles away. Wow. Wow. Safety is really important, according to the preliminary reports. This was written by 6 ABC News. Lord have mercy. The United States plans to bring back a somewhat shocking but very effective campaign to fight a flesh-eating parasitic fly that has been sighted in Mexico. The plan: breed millions of sterilized flies and drop them over the Texas-Mexican border to protect the more than $100 billion of U.S. cattle and beef industry from the New World screwworm. This can kill a 1,000-pound cow in 2 weeks, said Dr. Michael Bailey, president-elect of the American Veterinary Medical Association. The federal government is being very aggressive in working to contain this. It's not as crazy as it sounds. A similar effect worked well decades ago. This was written by usatoday.com. Speaking of which, people are talking about this cloud seeding as if it's a brand new thing where they put crystals inside clouds to help them form droplets so that rain will fall. And so the meteorologists have been having hard conversations with people who are like, well, it's because they seeded the clouds, that, that the rains happened in Texas. And the meteorologists are saying, no, it's climate change. It's the warmth. It's all the things that are going on that's building up these systems in the atmosphere. But we don't, did y'all go to school and learn about cumulus clouds and all the things? Sometimes I wonder, what were we learning while we were in school? And so cloud seeding has been happening since the 1940s. The first email that you all thought came out in the 1990s were being sent decades before that. I need you all to know that when something finally becomes public, it's not a brand new thing. It's coined as a brand new thing to all of you, but it really truly isn't. So just pay attention to that, okay? Let's see. What else is happening? The Pennsylvania man charged with fatally shooting, then beheading his father, and posting it on YouTube said Understand Wednesday that the killing was a plan B after trying to arrest his father for what he called false statements and treason. Lord. Justin D. Moan, 33, took the stand in a suburban Philadelphia courtroom on the third day of his trial on murder and other charges stemming from the January 30th, 2024 homicide of his father, Michael F. Moan. Moan, dressed in a blue sport coat, shirt, and tie with his arms shackled to his waist, spoke clearly without any apparent emotion for more than 2 hours of direct testimony and cross-examination. Do you all remember this? Winetta says, I don't watch the local news channel, Mother. Mother and YouTube channels are my choice of being informed. Thank you, my sister. Whew. And that was written by WHYY.org, Levittown, Pennsylvania, man beheading father. New Orleans, Associated Press. The top Democrat in the U.S. House is holding a town hall Thursday in Louisiana, home to Republican Speaker Mike Johnson and his deputy, to rally against the health care cuts in the GOP bill that President Donald Trump signed into law. Led by New York Rep. Hakeem Jeffries, Democrats are taking their case about Trump signature second-term domestic policy priorities directly to the people, with the event in Democratic-heavy New Orleans, outside the district represented by Johnson in northwestern Louisiana, and majority leader Steve Scalise in the city suburbs and elsewhere. This is Associated Press. Good morning, Wayne Alton Williams. He says, good morning. I catch what I can, but I'm not interested in all the bad news. And it's hard. I get it. I absolutely get it. Six Secret Service agents were suspended by the U.S. Secret Service for failures connected to last year's attempted assassination of then presidential candidate Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, an official told ABC News. The personnel moves were confirmed 4 days shy of the anniversary of the July 13th, 2024 shooting incident that left Trump's ear blooded. Corey Compertore, a firefighter attending Trump's campaign rally that day, died in the attack. This was written by abcnews.com. Lord help us, Jesus. U.S. applications for unemployment benefits fell last week, remaining in the historically healthy range of the past couple of years. The Labor Department reported Thursday that jobless claims for the week ending in July 5th fell by 5,000 to 227,000, fewer than the 238,000 the analysts forecast. Applications for unemployment aid are viewed as representative of layoffs. Last week, the Labor Department reported that the U.S. employers added a surprising 147,000 jobs in June, yet another sign that the American labor market continues to show resilience despite uncertainty over President Donald Trump's economic policies. This was written by the Associated Press. The National Association of Black Journalists, NABJ, says it is not extending an invitation to President Donald Trump for its annual convention in Cleveland, just weeks away in August. The association's president, Ken Lemon, said the focus of this year's convention is the organization's 50th anniversary as a Black journalist advocacy group. The convention will be held from August 6th to 10th. Lemon spoke by phone to Black Press USA, saying, "At this point, there is no reason to invite President Trump this year. Last year was a hard-fought presidential campaign year where journalists had the opportunity to vet the candidate. I don't see the need to do it this time around," emphasized Lemon. This was written by PhillyTrib.com. Jefferson Health, this is local to Pennsylvania, to Philadelphia. Jefferson Health's plan to expand the emergency department at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital just got a major boost in funding. The philanthropist Sidney Kimmel and his wife Caroline have donated $28 million to Jefferson Health and Thomas Jefferson University. The Kimmel's donation will support capital improvements, including the emergency department's expansion and enhance research at Sidney Kimmel's Medical College. For Caroline and me, this is the right time, the right project, and the right place to give, Sidney Kimmel said in a statement. "My heart has always been in Philadelphia, and access to the highest level of care has never been more important. We are pleased to continue our partnership with Jefferson, helping to build both the facilities and the research engine that will change lives for generations." The Middletons, John Middleton, who is part owner of the Philadelphia Phillies, said that he and his wife had been given money, been donating money all over the place. They're worth $4.1 billion. And he said it was a preacher in a church that brought him to tears that says, you're giving money to these well-known organizations, but what about the people that live in your community that you hardly ever see, that are there, but you don't give any money to? So last night, he and his wife, gave the substantial amount of $500,000, and they're going to keep building on it so that every year it grows, and that is his plan. So it should be in the millions in a couple of years, and that was wonderful. He also brought the Philly Fanatics with him. You'll see pictures of me on Facebook. That thing put his whole snout across my entire face. It was so funny. But there we are, right? So that was written by Philly Voice about the Kimmels. A Delta jet experienced engine problems on what was supposed to be a transatlantic flight and landed on an island in the middle of the ocean where the nearly 300 travelers and crew had to spend the night, officials said on Thursday. Flight 127 left Madrid on Sunday, bound for New York's John F. K. International Airport, when it had to divert to Azores, TER, after indication of a mechanical issue with an engine, according to an airline statement. The Airbus A330 had 282 customers and 13 crew members on board, Delta said. The passengers and crews deplaned via stairs and were accommodated overnight in area hotels and provided meals, the airline added. They were taken off the island in Portugal's Azores on a new aircraft on Monday. The flight landed safely, and we sincerely apologize. Can you imagine leaving Madrid and landing on an island out of nowhere? I tell you, got to be prepared for everything. Let's see. Governor Josh Shapiro repeals long-standing ban on hunting on Sundays throughout state. Deer and other game hunting will soon be permitted on Sundays throughout Pennsylvania, as Governor Josh Shapiro has repealed a long-standing ban on the practice. On Wednesday, Shapiro signed Bill 1431 into law that will allow the Commonwealth's 850,000 licensed hunters to spend more of their weekends outdoors. Previously, the state only permitted hunting on 3 Saturdays a year. Wow. Well, there we go. Right. And right. $28 million went to Jefferson and nobody to help Crozier, right in the middle of Chester. It's amazing. It's just amazing what's going on. And I also have to read this to you, because I just, the cognitive dissonance, the feeling that stop trying to convince people, right? Because here we go. This was written by, and I can't tell right now. Give me a second. More Hispanic voters support Trump's deportations despite media incitement, poll finds. A new poll found that support for President Donald Trump's mass deportation surged among Hispanic voters between May and July. Many on the left and some on the media have been trying to persuade Hispanics that deportations are motivated by racism, but that endeavor appears to have fallen on deaf ears, according to the newest Signal poll. There's little question that among his most attractive qualities, his voters believes that he keeps his promises from the campaign. The poll found that support for deportations had surged among Hispanic voters by 7% points over only 2 months. They're the ones that are being deported and dragged out of supermarkets, dragged out of their medical appointments, dragged. Listen, I keep telling y'all, leave people alone. Let them be who they be. Let me see what's going on over here in the chat. Good morning, Laverne. As Lawrence O'Donnell says, Trump is thinly educated. That Joanne said that. Jasenia says, I watch the news once a week and it's overwhelming. Monica says, I don't look at the regular news daily, just the preview and weather. I have to shut down at times in order to continue to handle all of this mentally. However, I am aware of most. Viola says, the man who assaulted 14 girls in 1990 received 200 years. He was 24 at the time of sentences. I have the news clip, name and picture. He hung out at Broad and Olney. Wow. Joanne says, Andre, I know you have been saying to carry your passport, but last night on Lawrence O'Donnell's show was the very first time I've heard someone on TV plead for people to buy and carry their passport card. Listen, I don't understand why this is a thing. And she wrote, Jefferson will need the expansion when those rural hospitals close in Pennsylvania as a direct result of losing money. Christopher Michael says, who is collecting that data? Right, Christopher. Christoph. I'm sorry, right, Christoph? Who is collecting that data? I said, well, Black Jesus, is this where we are in these Wakandan streets? People are something else. All right, so it is 7:07. If all minds and hearts are clear, if you have all gotten on in what you needed to say and do, I am going to get off the air early. I can barely see. I'm exhausted, right? Yesterday, today, tomorrow, straight through Monday, I am moving and shaking. And so by Wednesday of next week, I will be a mess in a puddle. But we're going to do what we have to do. All right, y'all. This episode of Mornings with Marvel is officially over. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye, darlings. And now, all right, I'll see you guys later. Joanne Kemp says, Beatrice says, Joanne Kemp, I just received my renewal passport and passport card, but the passport card is the same size as my passport. Really? Really? Because my husband's passport card is a wallet size and mine is a little different. That's interesting. All right, y'all. Good morning. You just woke up. Child, I had to get up. Tiffany, thank you, Tiffany, for being with me last night. Tiffany and Janelle LaRue were my ride or dies. They made sure I had all the things that I needed so that I could move yesterday. It was a lot. I worked. So, Joanne says, Beatrice Barlow, my passport card looks like a small credit card. It does. And thank you, Dennis. Thank you all so much. All right, my darling. See you later. Bye-bye.